Welcome to my channel, English Reading Room. Most people are not tired because they work too hard. They are tired because they give their energy to everything, to stress, to toxic people, to overthinking, to fake relationships, to endless pressure, to opinions that should never matter. And slowly, without realizing it, they lose themselves. They smile less. They feel emotionally heavy. Their motivation disappears. Their peace fades. And the worst part is, nobody notices the silent battle happening inside them. Because some of the most exhausted people still wake up every day pretending they are okay. But listen carefully. Your energy is your life. It affects your mind, your emotions, your confidence, your dreams, the people you attract, and the future you create. If you allow negativity, toxic environments, and emotionally draining people to constantly enter your life, eventually even the strongest soul begins to feel weak. That is why learning how to protect your energy is one of the most important skills you will ever develop. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. Not every argument deserves your attention. Not every relationship deserves your sacrifice. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away from what slowly destroys your spirit, because protecting your energy is not selfish. It is survival. So, if you have been feeling emotionally exhausted lately, if your heart feels heavy, if your mind feels overwhelmed, this message may change the way you see your life forever. Because today, you are going to learn how to stop losing yourself while trying to save everyone else. Part 1. The hidden ways people drain your energy. Most people do not lose their energy all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, and invisibly. A stressful conversation here, a toxic comment there, another day spent trying to keep everyone happy while ignoring your own emotional exhaustion. And before they realize it, they feel mentally tired, emotionally heavy, and disconnected from themselves. One of the hidden ways people drain your energy is through constant negativity. Some people complain about everything. They bring drama everywhere they go. They criticize, gossip, judge, and spread stress into every conversation. And if you spend enough time around that energy, eventually your own mind begins feeling dark and exhausted too, because energy is contagious. The people around you affect your emotions more than you realize. Another hidden drain is people-pleasing. Many kind-hearted people destroy their own peace trying to avoid disappointing others. They say yes when they want to say no. They stay available even when they are emotionally tired. They give love, time, and attention to people who rarely give the same effort back. And slowly, they begin abandoning themselves just to keep others comfortable. Then there is the silent damage caused by fake relationships. Some people only come into your life when they need something. They disappear during your hard times, but return when they want attention, help, or emotional support. And because you care deeply, you continue giving chance after chance, even while your soul feels exhausted. But perhaps the most dangerous energy drain of all is overthinking, reliving painful memories, worrying about things you cannot control, replaying conversations in your head at night, doubting yourself, questioning your worth, Your mind becomes a battlefield, and your peace slowly disappears. Listen carefully. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. Not everyone deserves your time, your emotions, or your constant sacrifice. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. Because the moment you stop allowing toxic people, negativity, and emotional chaos to control your life, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes lighter. Your confidence returns. Your heart begins healing. And for the first time in a long time, you finally start feeling like yourself again. Part 2. Why kind people suffer the most emotionally. Kind people often suffer silently, not because they are weak, but because they care too deeply. They feel everything. They notice pain in other people's voices. They try to help, support, forgive, and understand even when their own heart is exhausted. And while the world praises kindness, very few people talk about the emotional weight kind people carry every single day. Kind people give chances when others would walk away. They stay loyal even after being disappointed. They continue loving people who repeatedly hurt them because they believe everyone deserves understanding. But the painful truth is this: not everyone values a kind heart. Some people take advantage of it. Some people only show up when they need help, attention, or emotional support. And because kind people hate seeing others suffer, they keep giving until there is almost nothing left inside themselves. One of the biggest reasons kind people suffer emotionally is because they absorb other people's pain. They carry problems that were never theirs to carry. They lose sleep worrying about others. They feel guilty for saying no. They apologize even when they did nothing wrong. And over time, they become emotionally drained without understanding why. Kind people also struggle because they often expect others to love the way they love. They believe loyalty will be returned. They believe honesty will be appreciated. They believe their effort will matter. But life does not always work that way. Sometimes the people you care about the most become the ones who hurt you the deepest. And that heartbreak changes something inside you. But listen carefully. Your kindness is not a weakness. Your soft heart is not something to be ashamed of. The problem is not that you care too much. The problem is that you keep giving your energy to people who never deserved it. Real kindness must include boundaries. Real love must include self-respect. Because if you continue sacrificing your peace for everyone else, eventually, your own soul will begin to break. You deserve relationships that feel safe. You deserve people who appreciate your heart instead of using it. And the moment you learn how to protect your energy while still remaining kind, your life begins to change. Because true strength is not becoming cold after being hurt. True strength is learning how to stay kind without destroying yourself in the process. Part 3. Stop absorbing everyone else's negativity. Most people do not realize how much negativity they absorb every single day. A stressful conversation, a toxic environment, constant criticism, angry people, complaints, drama, fear. Over time, all of it slowly enters the mind and begins affecting emotions, confidence, and peace. And the dangerous part is this: negativity spreads quietly. You may not notice it at first, but eventually it changes the way you think, feel, and see yourself. Some people carry darkness everywhere they go. They always expect the worst. They complain about everything. They judge others constantly. They speak with anger, bitterness, and frustration. And if you spend enough time around that energy, your own spirit begins feeling heavy too, because human beings absorb emotional energy from their environment. The people around you shape your mental world more than you realize. That is why protecting your peace is necessary. Not every problem needs to become your burden. Not every negative opinion deserves space inside your mind. And not every emotionally draining person deserves unlimited access to your life. You cannot heal while constantly surrounding yourself with chaos. Many kind-hearted people suffer because they try to save everyone. They listen to endless negativity. They carry emotional pain that does not belong to them. They become the emotional support system for people who never ask how they are doing. And slowly, they lose themselves while trying to fix everyone else. But listen carefully. You are not responsible for carrying the emotional weight of the entire world. It is okay to step back. It is okay to protect your mental health. It is okay to choose distance from people who constantly destroy your peace, because your energy matters too. Protect your mornings from negativity. Protect your mind from toxic conversations. Protect your heart from people who only spread fear, anger, and emotional chaos. Spend time with people who inspire growth, peace, hope, and healing. Feed your mind with positive thoughts instead of constant stress and darkness. Because the more negativity you absorb, the more exhausted your soul becomes. But the moment you stop allowing toxic energy to control your emotional world, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes calmer. Your heart feels lighter. Your confidence slowly returns. And you finally begin creating a life that feels peaceful instead of emotionally overwhelming. Part 4. The dangerous habit of always saying yes. Many people are emotionally exhausted because they have a dangerous habit they never learn to break. They say yes to everything. Yes to helping others even when they are tired. Yes to situations that destroy their peace. Yes to responsibilities they cannot handle. Yes to people who only take and never give back. And slowly, while trying to keep everyone else happy, they lose themselves. At first, saying yes feels harmless. You want to be kind. You want to avoid disappointing people. You want to feel needed, accepted, and appreciated. But over time, constantly ignoring your own emotional needs begins damaging your mental health. Because every time you say yes when your heart is begging for rest, you betray your own peace a little more. Many kind-hearted people fear being called selfish, so they continue sacrificing themselves for everyone around them. They stay available all the time. They solve problems that are not theirs. They carry emotional burdens they were never meant to carry. And eventually, they become physically tired, mentally overwhelmed, and emotionally empty. The painful truth is this: some people become comfortable draining your energy because they know you struggle to say no. They rely on your guilt, They rely on your kindness. They rely on the fact that you will continue overgiving even when your soul is exhausted. And if you never create boundaries, people will continue taking until there is nothing left inside you. But listen carefully. Saying no does not make you rude. Protecting your peace does not make you selfish. Resting does not make you weak. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is choose yourself before your mental health completely breaks. You are allowed to say no to toxic behavior, no to emotional manipulation, no to conversations that drain your spirit, no to people who only appear when they need something from you. Your energy is valuable, and not everyone deserves unlimited access to it. The moment you stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace, your life begins changing. You become emotionally stronger. Your mind feels lighter. Your relationships become healthier. And most importantly, you finally stop abandoning yourself just to keep everyone else comfortable. Because real self-respect begins the day you realize your peace matters too. Part 5. Protect your mind before it breaks. Most mental breakdowns do not happen suddenly. They happen slowly after weeks, months, or even years of emotional pressure, stress, overthinking, disappointment, and silent exhaustion. People continue smiling while suffering internally. They continue helping others while secretly feeling empty themselves. They ignore the warning signs because they believe they must stay strong no matter how much pain they carry. But eventually, the mind reaches its limit. Your mind was never designed to carry endless negativity without rest. Constant stress changes the way you think. Overthinking steals your peace. Toxic environments drain your emotional strength. And when you ignore your mental health for too long, even small problems begin feeling overwhelming. Suddenly, you lose motivation. You feel emotionally numb. Your patience disappears. You stop enjoying things that once made you happy, and slowly, you no longer recognize yourself. That is why protecting your mind is one of the most important things you will ever do. Be careful what you allow into your emotional world. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves space inside your heart. And not every battle deserves your energy. Some people destroy their peace trying to fix everything around them while completely neglecting themselves. Listen carefully. Rest is not weakness. Taking care of your mental health is not selfish. You are human, not a machine. Your mind needs peace. Your heart needs recovery. Your soul needs moments of silence away from stress and emotional chaos. Protect your sleep. Protect your mornings. Protect your inner peace from constant negativity. Spend less time around people who make you feel emotionally unsafe. Stop feeding your mind with fear, comparison, and endless pressure. Learn how to pause before your emotional exhaustion turns into complete burnout. Because once your mind breaks, everything in life becomes harder. Your relationships suffer, your confidence weakens, your dreams feel impossible, and even simple tasks begin feeling heavy. But the beautiful thing is this: healing is possible, peace is possible, and your life can change the moment you finally decide that your mental health deserves protection too. You do not need to wait until you completely collapse before choosing yourself. Start protecting your peace now, because a healthy mind is not a luxury. It is the foundation of a meaningful life. Part 6. The real reason you feel emotionally exhausted. People change without even realizing it. Not because they want to become cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable, but because life slowly exhausts them. Too many disappointments, too many betrayals, too many nights spent overthinking, too many moments where they gave their whole heart to people who never truly valued it. And after carrying pain for so long, something inside them begins to shift. The person who once trusted easily becomes careful. The person who once gave endless chances becomes quieter. The person who once smiled all the time begins hiding their emotions behind silence. Not because they stopped caring, but because they became tired of being hurt. Sometimes the change happens because of invisible battles fought alone. The realization that not everyone who says, "I'm here for you," actually stays. The realization that kindness is often taken for granted. The realization that constantly sacrificing peace for others only leaves the soul emotionally empty. And slowly, survival teaches lessons nobody ever wanted to learn. But listen carefully. Changing after pain does not make someone weak. Protecting the heart after disappointment does not make someone a bad person. Life changes people, especially those who loved deeply and suffered silently. The important thing is making sure pain does not turn the heart into something unrecognizable. Do not let heartbreak destroy the ability to love. Do not let betrayal convince you that everyone is cruel. And do not let emotional exhaustion make you forget your worth. It is possible to become wiser without becoming bitter. It is possible to protect peace without losing kindness. And it is possible to heal without pretending the pain never existed. Because some changes are necessary. Some changes save mental health. Some changes teach the importance of no longer abandoning oneself just to keep everyone else comfortable. And sometimes changing is not losing yourself. Sometimes changing is finally becoming the person who knows how to protect their own heart. Part 7. Stop chasing people who ignore your worth. One of the most painful things a person can do is continuously chase people who never truly value them, chasing attention, chasing love, chasing validation, chasing people who give mixed signals, empty promises, and temporary effort. And while doing everything possible to keep those relationships alive, something heartbreaking happens. Self-worth slowly begins to disappear. Trying to force people to see your value is emotionally exhausting. You start overthinking every conversation. You wonder why your effort is never enough. You question yourself every time someone pulls away. And eventually you begin believing you must work harder just to deserve basic love and respect. But real connections do not require constant begging for attention. Real relationships do not leave you feeling emotionally confused all the time. The painful truth is this: some people know your value and still choose not to appreciate it. Not because you are unworthy, but because they are too emotionally unavailable, too selfish, or too distracted to recognize the depth of your heart. And if you continue chasing people who repeatedly ignore your worth, you will slowly destroy your peace trying to earn love that should have been given freely. Listen carefully. You should never have to convince someone to care about you. You should never have to constantly prove your importance to people who only remember your value when they feel lonely or need something from you. The right people do not make you beg for basic respect, attention, or honesty. Every time you chase someone who keeps hurting you, you abandon yourself a little more. Your confidence weakens. Your emotional energy disappears. Your happiness becomes dependent on people who are not even protecting your heart. And eventually, you become exhausted from loving people who never truly loved you back the same way. But healing begins the moment you stop chasing. The moment you stop forcing connections. The moment you stop begging people to see what makes you valuable, because your worth does not decrease simply because someone failed to recognize it. Walk away from relationships that constantly make you feel unwanted. Protect your energy from people who only appear when it benefits them. And remember this: the right people will never make you feel like you must fight for a place in their lives. Real love brings peace, not constant emotional exhaustion. Part 8. How to protect your peace in a toxic world. The world can be loud, stressful, and emotionally exhausting. Everywhere people look, there is pressure, negativity, conflict, comparison, and endless noise competing for attention. Toxic conversations, fake relationships, constant criticism, and emotional chaos slowly drain the mind until peace begins to feel impossible to find. And because so many people are struggling internally, pain often spreads from one person to another without anyone realizing it. That is why protecting your peace has become one of the most important things a person can learn. Peace is not weakness. Peace is survival. Without it, the mind becomes overwhelmed, the heart becomes heavy, and life begins feeling emotionally exhausting every single day. Protecting your peace starts with choosing what deserves access to your energy. Not every argument needs a response. Not every opinion deserves attention. Not every person deserves unlimited access to your emotions. Some people only bring stress, drama, and negativity into your life. And the longer you stay connected to that energy, the more emotionally drained you become. Sometimes protecting your peace means creating distance from toxic people, even when you care about them deeply. Sometimes it means staying silent instead of explaining yourself repeatedly. Sometimes it means turning off the noise of the world and reconnecting with yourself again. Because healing cannot happen in environments that constantly destroy your spirit. Protect your mind carefully. The things you watch, listen to, and surround yourself with affect your emotional state more than you realize. Feed your mind with hope instead of fear. Spend time with people who inspire growth instead of emotional chaos. Learn how to enjoy silence without feeling lonely. And most importantly, stop sacrificing your mental health just to keep others comfortable. Listen carefully. Peace is expensive. Not everyone deserves access to it. The strongest people are not always the loudest. Sometimes the strongest people are simply the ones who learned how to remain calm in a world full of negativity. Life becomes lighter when you stop chasing drama, forcing relationships and carrying emotional weight that was never yours to hold. Your energy returns, your confidence grows, your heart begins healing. And slowly, you realize something powerful. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is one of the greatest forms of self-respect. Part 9. The power of walking away without explaining. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that not every situation deserves an explanation. Sometimes people will misunderstand you no matter how honest you are. Sometimes they will judge you no matter how carefully you speak. And sometimes the more you try to explain your heart, the more emotionally exhausted you become. Trying to make everyone understand you is draining. You replay conversations in your head. You defend your intentions. You explain your decisions again and again, hoping people will finally see your perspective. But the painful truth is this: some people are committed to misunderstanding you because it benefits the version of the story they already created in their minds. That is why walking away without explaining can become one of the most powerful forms of protecting your peace. Silence does not always mean weakness. Sometimes silence means you are finally choosing your mental health over endless emotional battles. Sometimes it means you are tired of proving your worth to people who never truly listen anyway. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every accusation deserves your response. Some people only want reactions. Some only want control. And if you continue explaining yourself to those determined to judge you, your peace will slowly disappear. There comes a moment in life when emotional maturity means understanding that closure will not always come from other people. Sometimes closure comes from deciding you no longer need validation from those who hurt you. Sometimes peace comes from accepting that not everyone will understand your heart. And that is okay. Walking away is painful, especially when you care deeply. But staying in situations that constantly drain your spirit is even more painful. Staying where you are disrespected, manipulated, ignored, or emotionally exhausted slowly destroys your confidence and emotional well-being. Listen carefully. You do not need to explain why you are protecting your peace. You do not need permission to leave environments that damage your mental health. And you do not need to continue sacrificing your happiness just to make others comfortable. The moment you stop chasing understanding from people committed to misunderstanding you, your life becomes lighter. Your mind becomes calmer. Your heart begins healing. And for the first time in a long time, you finally realize that peace is more valuable than winning every argument. Part 10. The day you finally choose yourself. There comes a moment in life when everything changes quietly, not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because something inside finally becomes stronger. After years of overgiving, overthinking, chasing approval, and sacrificing peace for others, a realization begins to grow. Continuing to abandon yourself just to keep everyone else comfortable is slowly destroying your soul. The day you finally choose yourself is not selfish. It is healing. It is the moment you stop begging for love from people who never valued your heart. It is the moment you stop forcing connections that only bring pain and emotional confusion.